Hello and welcome back to Slick Willy Fly. So today we are going to do a craft fur micro Clouser minnow with a nice cocktail. So what I have in the vise is a size 2 saltwater hook, and let's get started. I'm going to use white and chartreuse craft fur. So I'm going to go ahead and use a white thread, which I might color up when I get to the end. Right now all I'm going to do is build a little bump where I'm going to put my dumbbell lead eyes. The dumbbell lead eyes you're going to see are going to look a little bit banged up because I've recycled them. I took them off a fly that caught a whole bunch of fish. So I'm going to take a black Sharpie later and probably color it up just a little bit nicer. So I'm just going to start this with a little X-wraps. The reason I put the bump is so that when I pull on the thread, the bump doesn't allow the lead eyes to go farther back. So I'm just gonna give this a bunch of X-wraps just to get it nice and tight. I like the position, I like where it's sitting. So now I've gotten into a new habit. I've been putting a little zap on the lead eyes before I'm actually done wrapping them. And what I find is that by doing it this way, the zap gets really like pushed in hard into the lead eyes. So now that I'm comfortable that I like them, now I'm going to start my figure eights. And figure eights are just going under the dumbbell eyes and over the hook. And what that does is it draws in everything nice and tight. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring my thread back. And I'm going to go ahead and attach a piece of 20-pound monofilament. So this is a Slick Willy version of a Clouser minnow. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to wrap a little bit of mono on the bottom, on the hook shank after I put on the first clump of craft fur. And what I think it does is it just makes this fly a little bit more tough and durable. This is already a pretty durable fly, but this will make it really tough and durable. So there it is. I'm going to just put that in my material holder and hopefully keep it out of the way. Now another step that I like to do is I have a little bit of Chartreusse crystal flash, a couple of strands, and I'm going to make a little tail with this crystal flash. So I'm just folding it over a few times, and I think that something like that is about right. Now I'm not gonna, normally I take this and I fold it and I fold it and I wrap it on itself. Don't think I'm gonna, I might do it, but I doubt very much I'm gonna do it because this is gonna be the length that I like, the length that you're seeing right here. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and lock this in nice and hard. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up all the way to the dumbbell eyes, because that'll keep the body the same size. Once I get about to the eyes, close enough, I'm going to cut them off. And I'm also going to open up my loops, just like that. Now I'm going to bring my thread to the back. And now I'm going to attach the white, because this is the underside of the, or the belly of the fly. And this is a size 2 hook. I don't want this super long, but I do want it to be longer than the crystal flash that I just put on. So I got about the right length here. I don't really need to make it super long. So I'm going to just make my life a little easier. Trim it up. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it on the hook. I'm going to give it a couple wraps. Just to double check that I like the length, which I do. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up nice and hard all the way to the eyes. This is a super easy, super effective fly. I can go under. I can actually give this a little whip finish, make my life a little easier. Not going to cut off the thread. Put this in the holder. Then I can take making sure I don't capture anything. And it's important that I take this in the same direction that I took my thread. So I usually do the first one, the first wrap, just by my old style here, making sure that it's sitting where I want it to sit. Just like that. Now I can use the rotary function, and I'm just going to wrap it up so it's touching itself. Touching turns. I think the mono looks awesome. It doesn't hurt anything, and it just makes this fly that much tougher. I'm just going to get to the dumbbell eyes. Once I get to the dumbbell eyes, like where I am right now, now all I got to do is bring my thread under and capture the eyes. Couple of turns on both sides, and that mono is captured. So now I can get in here and carefully trim away the mono. Nice. So that's the body. If you want, you can always come in here and trim away a little, clean this up a little bit, but I think it doesn't hurt anything at all. I think that looks really good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one strand of gold crystal flash. I'm going to fold it 2 times. Actually, I'm not going to fold it 2 times. I'm going to use it at that length. And I'm going to put it right on top. Remember now, this is the top of the hook now. And we can trim that crystal flash after we put the wing on. Yes, so now I'm going to get my Chartreusse. And one thing that you can do to make your life easy is you can invert the fly in your vise. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the wing, and it's a little bit hard to see, but you have the length. I want the wing on top to be slightly longer than the bottom. That looks about right. So I'm going to trim this, which will make my life a lot easier and neater. Now I'm going to go ahead and place it right between the eyes. Couple of wraps. Once I've got a couple of wraps, I'm going to go ahead and pull it back so that the eye of the hook isn't totally covered. Just like that. Doesn't matter if I lose a couple of strands here, a couple of pieces of craft fur, little fibers. Now I'm going to go ahead and crank down on this. And I never go on the opposite side of the lead. So just like that. So now what I want to do is I want to get a little bit more of the Chartreusse, because I really think the Chartreusse crystal flash looks awesome. And it's not like an overpowering flash. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to put it on my thread. That looks about right. I'm going to put it right dead center and get this locked in. Now I'm going to make sure that I split them. So I want them to lay on each side. Just like that. I think that looks great. Cut open the loop. We can trim the crystal flash after. So now the last remaining thing to do is to make the head. And maybe I change thread colors for the head. I think I will. I'm going to go ahead and put a whip finish in. This was 70 denier, I think. Yeah, 70 denier. And now I'm gonna get, wonder what color should we go for? Maybe olive. I think olive would look good. Wonder if I have a Chartreusse. I might have a Chartreusse. That might look better. We're gonna go with that one. Sorry, olive. We'll use you on another day. This is simply all I'm doing here is changing the color on the head, because I'm gonna go ahead and lock it all in with a little bit of UV resin, and it's gonna look great. You know, the Clouser Minow is probably, it's arguably one of the most used flies for sure in saltwater fishing. I know that it's used a lot in freshwater fishing as well. And it's tied in every size imaginable. And it's just a great fly. And this little craft fur version on a smaller size hook is phenomenal on the inshore. The very first redfish I ever caught on a fly was caught on a Clouser minnow. Not a craft fur, but a Clouser, a deer hair Clouser. I personally think that if you're fishing very calm waters, if you don't have a ton of current, this craft fur is a better option. It has so much action. It just like comes to life. So now I feel like I've changed the color very nicely. So I'm going to give this a whip finish. And then we're going to do a little UV resin. And this fly will be finished. Super simple. Super effective tie. One thing I'm going to do before I do the UV resin is I'm going to check all my lengths. A little bit of fur got lost there, but that's quite alright. We got a lot of fur on this fly. That is a cool looking fly. Super happy with this. You know, when this fly gets wet, the craft fur will take the shape that we're looking for. All right. I don't even think I need to trim this. I think the crystal flash length is perfect. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the vise. I'm gonna get my UV resin. Just a simple light coat. You don't need very much at all. Now I use gravity. Gravity is my friend. And a needle. Needle doesn't hurt. And just get it exactly the way I want it. That's looking pretty darn good right there. I really believe that when you spin it like this, it just makes like a nice even layer. It really makes it even out and just looks really just professional. One thing I am gonna do, I'm gonna make sure I didn't get any UV resin in that hole, which I did not. Nice, and let's zap it. And there it is, the craft fur Clouser minnow. I always give it a little bit of extra time. And then this fly, like all the other flies that I use with UV resin, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my windowsill and let it cure, even though it's a very thin layer, but it doesn't hurt anything to let it cure. And let's see, what can I show it with? I guess this is the best I have. But I'll let it cure. So it's gonna ride like this. This is how the fly will ride in the water column. The craft fur Clouser minnow, you know, when this gets wet, it's gonna get that shape that I'm looking for. So after this cures for the day, I'll probably put it in a little warm water and shape it a little bit more. But this is perfect. Size 2 hook. It's a saltwater hook, but I'll use this in fresh water for sure. And it's a great little color combo. The body looks awesome. That body looks tough right there. I mean, I love it. I think it looks great. A little thing you could do, you can wrap this with like pearl braid and then use the mono. Looks phenomenal. So you're limited by your imagination. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.